Welcome to today's Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to dive into this one with you. Today, we're pulling back the curtain to deconstruct the exact design brief for a piece of highly engaging social media content. Seriously, have you ever wondered why you suddenly stop scrolling for a seemingly simple puzzle? Well, it is rarely an accident. We're going to look at the anatomy of a viral riddle post, step by step, to see exactly how designers are instructed to capture our attention, hijack our curiosity, and, most importantly, hold it. The amount of psychological engineering that goes into a single, seemingly basic social media post is truly staggering. Every single color, every word, every illustration, it's all highly calculated to fight the algorithm and win your focus. So let's break down the blueprint of this specific viral trap.
Okay, let's jump right into the raw text of the riddle to immediately engage your problem-solving instincts. It goes, I can be cracked, made, told, and played, but I can never be eaten. Now, this is an incredibly clever piece of copy because it leverages a powerful psychological trigger known as cognitive dissonance. Think about it. It uses entirely familiar action verbs, cracking, making, telling, playing, but it combines them in a way that feels totally contradictory when you try to apply them to just one thing. Your brain instantly starts searching for a single object or concept that somehow fits all of these different actions at once. You try to categorize it, right? Is it a physical object? Well, if it can be cracked, maybe it's an egg. But you can't tell an egg. Okay, is it a game? You can play a game, maybe make a game, but you can't really crack a game. This dissonance creates a literal mental itch. The human brain absolutely hates unresolved patterns, and this sentence is meticulously engineered to force your mind to pause its passive scrolling and start actively computing.
And that mental itch leads directly to the core hook of the design brief. It's the exact question the post must blast at the viewer. What am I? The source brief specifically dictates that this text must be incredibly large, bold, and super easy to read. So why is that specific formatting absolutely crucial? It all comes down to the psychology of scrolling. When we're mindlessly swiping through our feeds, we enter this sort of passive, consumption-heavy scroll trance. Most posts are just statements, opinions, or visual noise that we just passively absorb. But a massive, direct interrogative question, that acts as a visual stop sign. It completely breaks the pattern. It challenges the viewer directly, demanding that they pause, read the preceding clues, and actually commit to attempting the puzzle. In a fraction of a second, it shifts the user from a passive consumer to an active participant.
All right, Section 1, Visualizing the Confusion, Designing the Central Character. This right here brilliantly illustrates the exact focal point required by the creative brief. The primary instruction is to place a relatable, visibly confused person right in the center, literally swimming in a sea of question marks. Now, this isn't just some random cute decoration to fill empty space. No way. It's a highly strategic, psychologically driven design choice. By showing a character clearly struggling to figure it out, the design directly mirrors the viewer's own mental state as they read those tricky clues. It builds an immediate sense of camaraderie. Think about it for a second. The biggest risk with a puzzle post is that the user feels stumped, gets frustrated, and just scrolls away to protect their ego. This central character essentially says, hey, this person is confused too, it's a tough puzzle, and it's totally okay that you don't know the answer right away. By reducing that feeling of isolation and visually validating their struggle, it encourages the viewer to stick around, dig in, and try to solve it instead of just bouncing away.
Moving right along to Section 2, Illustrating the 4 clues, Visualizing the verbs.
Now, what's really interesting here is how the brief demands very specific visual support for the text. The designer doesn't just get to draw whatever they want to fill the space around our confused central character. They are explicitly mandated to include 4 small, distinct, and crucially funny illustrations. These drawings have to correspond perfectly to the specific action verbs from the riddle: cracked, made, told, and played. This achieves 2 massive goals for engagement. First, it utilizes dual coding, combining the written word with a visual representation. This makes the content way more engaging and gives the eye multiple interesting things to scan while the brain works over the logic of the riddle. But secondly, and honestly perhaps more importantly, is the strict requirement for humor. Why funny? Well, because humor immediately lowers the cognitive barrier to entry. It makes the challenge feel lighthearted rather than like a stressful test. When you see a funny illustration, your brain actually releases a tiny bit of dopamine, which keeps you engaged and feeling good while you struggle with the cognitive load of the puzzle. Plus, funny visuals make the post highly shareable. People are going to send it to friends even before they figured out the answer themselves.
Okay, Section 3, the strict design rules. We're talking aesthetic requirements and absolute exclusions.
So, the crucial point here is balancing this highly engaging visual tone with some incredibly strict guardrails. The design style absolutely must be bright, colorful, funny, and clean. It needs to literally pop off the screen to catch the eye in a crowded feed. But that vibrant aesthetic is tightly bound by severe restrictions. The designer is under absolute, non-negotiable orders. Do not reveal or show the answer anywhere, not even a subtle, clever hint hidden in the background. Furthermore, they are absolutely forbidden from using the specific word joke or the phrase a joke. What you leave out of a design is often just as critical to its success as what you put into it. And this presents a massive challenge for the designer. They have to effectively illustrate the concept and create an engaging scene that relates to the riddle, all while navigating an absolute minefield of forbidden concepts to ensure the literal answer remains completely hidden.
The design really has to walk an absolute tightrope here to maintain user engagement. You have the permitted clues, those fun visual breadcrumbs of cracking, making, telling, and playing that we just talked about, but these are heavily contrasted by the forbidden words that the creator is desperately trying to hide. Why do you think the brief is so intensely strict about omitting the word joke or anything related to it? It's all about the psychology of the aha moment. The exact moment you explicitly label this riddle with its answer, the brain categorizes it, files it away, and instantly stops working. You completely steal the user's cognitive reward. The satisfaction of a puzzle comes entirely from the mental leap required to connect the dots yourself. If the designer accidentally includes a forbidden word, they ruin the mystery and short-circuit that mental reward before the viewer even has a fair chance to guess. The designer has to create intense visual intrigue and give just enough clues to be helpful, without ever crossing that line and doing the actual work for the audience. To perfectly honor this design brief's #1 unbreakable rule of never revealing the answer, well, I'm certainly not going to give it away either. So I'm going to leave you with the riddle one last time to ponder. I can be cracked, made, told, and played, but I can never be eaten. Now that you completely understand the deep psychology, the strategic use of camaraderie, and the incredibly strict visual design principles all working together to trap your attention, I have to ask, did it work? Have you figured it out yet? So, what am I?